let's begin. All righty. Let's take the arms out to the sides. Good to see everyone. And then you're going to take your arms up and just grab a hold like hand to elbow and just long spine. The tendency is to want to drop down. You're lengthening, taking a deep breath in, exhale. So just taking your arms up like this helps to open up the upper chest, the upper lungs, strengthening the back. And then you'll release. We're going to reverse the leg crossing. And let's just take one arm up, doesn't matter, left, right, bend, and then grab a hold. So if you're tight, the elbow's way out and you're taking it good, everyone's open. And then you twist to one side and then you come down. So you sort of like, that's my right arm, I'm twisting to my left. If it's your left arm, you're twisting opposite way. And then you drop down. And it's like, imagine you're trying to take your elbow down towards the mat or the floor. And then come up. And we'll do second side, just bring the arms down and then grab hold of the other arm. Oh, they're coming in online now. And here we are. So there's that stretch to triceps, and then you're going to turn. So if it's your left arm, turn right, vice versa. And then you come over, and maybe you can only go over a little bit, maybe you can go over quite a way. So it's like I'm trying to take opposite arm to opposite knee. And you know what? I'm cheating. My sitting bone is coming up. I'm trying to anchor down. Maybe you can keep both sitting bones down. And then come up and release. Okay, grab hold of a strap. You could stretch out your legs if you need to. All right, here she is. Hi. Just in time, Karen, to shine your halo. She's like, what? Grab a strap. Okay, so anyways, you're starting out with a strap. I fold it in half. I don't need it long at all. And I'm going to fold it again. I really don't need it very long. And I like to hold the buckle piece so I don't whack myself by mistake. Okay, and then you can straighten your arms, and then you're going to have your elbows bent. Oh, racket sports, love this. Okay, elbows are bent. So usually when we think of you're shining your halo, we think, oh, isn't the halo above? That you feel sort of angelic right now? Okay, and yeah, oh, Paul's already there, he knows. So, and then you're gonna go behind your head and in front, and make sure your elbows are bent. So it's sort of like, oh, you're getting every part of your shoulder in this. Good, so June, this is the tendency. I do the same thing. I tend to bring my head forward. Show what happens. So I kind of go, but try to keep your head up. Okay, reverse. Better. Yeah. Excellent. Gosh, I could just do this all day. We won't though. Okay, release. If you really were like, wow, that was hard, I really need the strap, stay with the strap. But if you can, oh, let me silence my phone so you don't hear anything coming in. Okay. You clasp your hands, you claw your hands, and then you have, like I call it, the Ganesha grip, right? And guess what? You're going to do it again. So if you're really tight, you might say, wow, I could just keep my arms up. But you're trying to come forward and back and forward and back. And it's really hard if your hair is pulled back. And then reverse. Vajra loves these. Doesn't that feel good? It's just like, oh my God. Yeah. It's, yeah, if you have rotator cuff problems, you have to go back to the strap. Okay, and then releasing. So you're like, wait a minute, I thought it was the back class. And it is. All right. So we're going to come right onto our backs. And as always, this class is very multi-level, right? So let's start out pulling knee to chest. And then from here, lift your head, head to knee. And then can you reach past your leg? Engage your core. If that's hard on your neck, you hold your head. Release and hug knee to chest. So this is really where you're going to the root of the spine, like more towards the pelvis. And then lift your head. And maybe you can reach past your legs. So it's not, when you hold, that's a stretch. When you reach past, you're engaging your core. And then release. Okay. We're going to come up into bridge. The first one, you're going to keep your elbows bent. And there's a reason why. Keep your elbows bent, your hands in the air, palms facing each other, tuck shoulders underneath you. So this, like me, I love to push my hands in the floor, into the mat. But now I'm asking you to just really use the upper arm and feet. And you're going to, the whole, I could say the posterior chain of your body is engaged. It's working to get your pelvis up high. Breathing in and feel, is it possible to feel stretch to the front of your body? And then go ahead and lower and just pull these right into chest. That same grip you did for your halo, the Ganesha grip, you're going to claw your hands, bring your hands behind your knees, hook them together, and then press your knees open. So it's like you create a binding with your arms, and your knees push your arms, they push against your arms, and it helps to release your back. Breathing in. You could rock also if you like, left, right. Simple and really kind of relaxing and fun. Okay, and then from here, we're going to come up again into bridge. This time you can use your hands. Your hands will be either flat or clasping your hands, tuck shoulders underneath you. And the feet shouldn't be too wide apart, okay? Let's take the right leg up in the air. Point your toes, and what you have to do is power this with the leg that's on the mat, the foot that touches the mat. Your right leg active, toes pointing up. Press that foot down and switch sides, pointing, reaching. And then lower. Raise both heels, come out. If you prefer happy baby, that's fine. Or coming to this binding where your hands are hooked together and you can push your knees out. So some really, really need that happy baby. It's like that's the answer. And others get a lot of this binding. Breathing in and exhale. All right, so before we go to the third step of these bridge-related poses, we're going to rock back and forth. So we come forward, and as you come forward, hold your feet, come forward, stretching your inner thigh, and then upright spine, and come back. And are you able to go back to plow? Maybe part way, maybe your feet touch up overhead, and then make your way up, extend, and then lower, bringing your head to your feet or towards your feet. And do that twice more. Coming back towards plow, never looking to left, right, you're looking up. Good, towards your knees, and then come out. And there's one more. Yeah. And lengthening, and then coming. Let's go ahead and take a block. And now what we're going to do, the first thing is like, it's working with bridge. You'll see how it all works. We start from simple to more and more and more, okay? So you're going to start out with the block is at its lowest height, under your sacrum, your legs extending. For me, this is pretty darn easy. This is your floating bridge. Arms can be extended up overhead. I think for most of us, this is pretty darn basic and easy and feels good. So it's okay. It's okay to, to do something that's easy. And what you're finding, I hope, is that there's a stretch, the front hip flexor, very gentle, and a stretch iliacus from one hip bone across to the other. Shoulders are down, back of the head down. If you can go further, then what you're doing is you're bending your knees. And I would love for you to have that block on its highest end, but it's not possible for everybody. Okay, let's just see. Maybe you say, I can go to the top to the second height and extend from there. Maybe you can go to the third height. It's the highest that you go on the block. And if you can't go that high, it's okay. You're just seeing what is possible. Now, clasp your hands. If you're on the high end, clasp your hands, tuck shoulders underneath you. Wonderful. And I have my knees bent, that's fine. And some of you can extend. Now, sometimes when you extend, that just is over the top, too much. Just see what works for you. You're still a bridge here. Breathing in, exhale. Wow, I really like what I'm seeing. I'm happy. Now you're going to bend your knees, draw them in again, raise your pelvis up by raising the heels, take the block away and lower, and let's come to happy baby this time. Go ahead. If you prefer the binding, you can go there, or grab hold of your feet, stretch out your back, knees are wide. You can go side to side if you like. Yeah, so 2 ways to work this next one. One is you come into your regular bridge. You can take one leg up and the other, anything we've done prior to now. Or I think you might want to watch, or you can follow along. I've gotten pretty good at like just giving the words, So here's what we're doing. I'm lifting. I'm going to raise up high in my bridge and my heels are up. Now my hands are going to come under me, and they are doing the job of the block. But if you couldn't get the block under you, this is not going to work for you. Okay. It's in your fingertips are kind of pointed outward so that you don't, so your fingers don't have to bend back. Right leg comes up, and you're going to now take the left leg up, and guess what? You're going towards plow. You're having fun yet? Your right foot is reaching for the floor up overhead, and then everything comes down. I'm going to show it in a moment. I'm talking you through it right now. Left leg comes up, and the other leg comes up. Maybe this can be done with a block too. And I've never done it with a block only. So left leg coming to the floor, one leg up in the air, and then down. And come out. Rest your back. We get lots of comments in class. And then pulling knees into chest. I'm going to have you sit up and watch for a moment, because there's lots of ways to do that. Okay, I just want to make sure that you can't do it and watch. That's the problem. So you have to be all ears. Okay, so I'll watch it and then I can watch you. So, all right, easiest would be, easiest, the block under some height, and you're, and then you would like take one leg and the other. Okay, but if you can, comes underneath. See, if you can't go here, it's not going to work very well. One leg comes up, it's my right, and then I'm here. And then I go down, and then you switch. It's kind of cool. Okay, so you go over and then back.
Is the momentum from the leg that's going behind your head?
Say that again.
Is the momentum from
the momentum is from, yes, the momentum. And guess what? My hands are helping me a little bit. The momentum, the question is, yes, the momentum is coming. You see how my hands are helping me a little bit? And then down. And yes, the momentum is coming from there, and my hands helping me. Okay, so your turn to try something like that, or come into bridge, and then we'll turn the page. Okay, good. Nice. So what my teacher used to say, this is so cool. I'm glad I'm seeing you trying, right? My teacher used to say, when we would watch him do something outlandish, he would say, I want you to imagine that this is you doing it. And I go, okay, you know, but it helped a little bit, kind of seeing the possibility. Beautiful, June, that's good. Yeah, all right. And Paul's like, done that. Yeah, okay.
Did it once. Then
Yeah,
there we go.
did it once, I'm done. So now we go back to, after you've done a few, we're going back to a twist. We're on our backs, last one on our backs. You're going to take left hand, right foot, or use your strap and coming across. So coming across, and as you come across, extend your right arm. So this is an important twist. It gets just about every part of your spine. I think it gets every part of your spine, especially, so it's your right leg going left, and your head turns opposite of the leg. Head turns opposite of the leg, good. So it's a full-on spiral. And you're breathing, trying to anchor the shoulders down. Hey, Sadie. Yeah. Let's go the other direction. So going the other way, the other leg is up in the air, and opposite hand holding the foot or the straps, and you're coming across. And this is again, it's pretty powerful. The leg that is not in the strap is active and straight. Yeah. And
That's it. Pointed.
let's. And then we'll come out, we'll release. So once you release, you're coming out, and we're going to make our way to sitting. Once to sitting, let's go ahead and let's have our block in place. And remember, I promised sun salutations. We're dedicating class to sun, life. So here we are, extending, squeezing in, and you go back. Let's just say less is more. You're going back. I know you can probably go back quite a ways. Just go to this place, breathing in, exhale. Maybe go a little further. And like at this point, just the heels are down, right? Breathing in, exhale, and then pressing up. Let's come to a tabletop. That helps to, the first one, of course, strengthens the front abdominals. This one strengthens your back. Squeezing into the block, come out. And then you could repeat that or come to boat. And I would say block or no block if you're doing boat. And when you do boat, you're extending. So feet are together. Usually I think like pushing out through the ball of the foot, breathing in, exhale. One more breath in, exhale, and then release. You could do tabletop again or reverse plank. Squeeze shoulder blades together, press, and see if you can point your toes towards your mat. Lift through the diaphragmatic area. That's where we tend to collapse a little bit. And then lower. And from here, we're coming to child's pose. So once the child's pose, really, take a moment to take your arms forward, head is down, Breathe into your back, feeling the first good 20 minutes or so of your session. Let's walk the hands over to one side. And like if you went to the left, grab hold of your right wrist, for example. Grab hold of the, whatever side you went to, grab the opposite wrist. And lengthen. And then the other way, walking across and grab a hold of one wrist and lengthen. Stretching your side ribs. And then let's do that one more time. Come to the first side. Give yourself a nice stretch, side bend. Decompress your back. And then let's go ahead and do the opposite side. Walking across the opposite side, grabbing hold of the other wrist. And then coming back, let's do a few rounds of cat-cow, coming right onto the hands and knees. Simple movements. So can they be deep? Can you round and dome your back like the hissing cat? And then arching and really like melting the upper thoracic, the upper back, dropping down. Work with your breathing. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. You could keep on with cat-cow or walking your hands forward more and circling. So we're going back, pelvis shifts over to one side, warming up your back. And then reverse. And you could linger. I like that. I love that word, linger. It sounds like what it is, linger. Linger into a pose, maybe like the upward facing dog or more of the child's pose or pelvis shifting to one side. And then from here, from the hands and knees, simple again, but one of the best back work. So from the hands and knees, your left foot comes halfway forward. Doesn't come all the way to the hand, comes halfway forward. Your heel is on the mat, your toes are off the mat. And then you shift your weight back, you lower your head. So my goal is not to sit down. My goal is not to have my head all the way down, just to like to bow my head and reach the arms forward. And then part two is you walk your hands away from your left foot. Your hands will be off your mat. And once again, a nice side stretch, but it also really targets your left lower back, the quadratus lumborum, the QL, that part of the back and the erectors of the back that sometimes get overstressed. Yeah. You want me to show it, Tona? So I'm going over. We're still on the first side. And then let's go the other way, shifting. So the other way means you're on the hands and knees, and now your right foot comes halfway forward. Heel probably on the mat. You know, if you're really long-legged, maybe your foot is off the mat. And then you shift your weight back, walk your hands forward. That's part one. That's important too, because you'll feel this in your inner groin and maybe around the hip area. And then walking your hands over to the left, so that you're decompressing the right side of your body. So like Paula went in and tried to help you on that first side. I think that I can't really help you on these adjustments. I think it's really you. It's like your pelvis shifting back. And it's almost like a two-way action. You're moving back to the back of the room, but also your hands are moving to the side. So it's like elongation and side bending. And target is your lower back. Good, beautiful. Come on out. I hope you like that one. It's a really powerful one. And then let's go ahead and come right to downward facing dog. And you can pedal or you can straighten both legs. Shake out your head and take a few rounds of breath. Breathing in, exhale. And then we're going to walk to the front of the mat. And once you walk to the front of the mat, go really wide with your feet. And then we'll come to a squat. So you're gonna just drop down into a squat. And I know some have to sit on block, whatever it takes, maybe even maybe your feet come closer in than mine do, and you're really extending your back, and you can turn your head, turn one way and turn the other way. Do that again, turn and see if you can go a little further, look behind you, and then look the other way. Good. Forward fold. So you come into your forward fold, your feet will be closer in together. You can have like, not quite hip distance, not quite all the way together, somewhere in between, hands to elbows, and let yourself hang. Feeling your legs grow long here, hamstrings letting loose a little more. So we're going to come on up, and we have sun salutations. We'll see how they all go, Okay. I'm going to suggest having 2 blocks handy, at least this first time around. That'll help with the lunge part. Just thinking, my hands will be a little off screen, but they're overhead. All right, so front end of the mat, hands are to heart. It's a series of forward bending and back bending. We reach up. It's actually an ancient sequence. Look up, and it's really honoring the sun, reaching up and back, and honoring light and warmth. Your hands don't have to be on your block. Maybe you're happy to have the block. Maybe your hands can come to the mat. Knees can be soft. And then from here, right foot steps back. Now I'm taking the blocks a little closer in. I don't need them on their high end. They're kind of nice to have. And since my hands are on the block, I can let my knee go beyond the line of the ankle because my hands are helping me here. They're holding me up. You can bring your knee down if you like, look up, back toes curled under or foot extended. See, when you look up, can it be like lifting through your sternum? And then we come to warrior 1. So in warrior 1, I have to readjust because my hands are going to be in the air. So I need alignment. I need knee ankle alignment, back heel is down, and pelvis facing forward, reaching up. Your palms can be together or arms apart, and reach and look back. Lift your heart center. And then lower, moving the blocks out of the way, downward facing dog. Pause, bring your feet closer together. If not all the way together, and there you are again, downward facing dog, shake out your head. And what I'm going to say, I don't know if anybody can see you. You're going to open your mouth like you're faking a yawn. You're going to stick out your tongue and try to reach your chin. It's ridiculous. Just do it. And no one can see you, right? Except maybe me. Maybe you can see me. And then as you're doing that, that releases the cranial wandering nerve, the vagus. That's the vagus nerve, vagus, right? V-A-G-U-S. And then release and come forward to plank. Good. From plank, 2 rounds of breath. So it's some core, right? Planks are great for core building, strength building. And then we're going to add side plank. You can bring one knee down. Doesn't matter if you go left or right. We'll do both sides. And then we go the other way. Arm is down. Make sure that the wrist is directly under shoulder for support. Second side. Breathe. 2 rounds of breath. Good. And coming out. And then we're going to lower to Chaturanga Dandasana, lowering right onto the belly. And let's you can move those blocks so they'll be nearby when you need them again. Come onto your elbows. And just take a moment to arch your back. Press your tops of your feet down into the mat. Some of you can extend your arms. Feet are pressing down. Good. Chin down. And look ahead of you, maybe looking upward. Look straight ahead, look past one shoulder. And then look the other way, look past the shoulder. And lower. Rest your forehead down. Just it's worth your while. Just let everything release. Breathe in, breathe out. It's like you're on a journey, and the sun salutation is like a circuit, and there's a viewpoint. You got to stop and see the viewpoint. And then now your hands are alongside your chest. Elbows are tucked in. They're going to stay tucked in for Cobra. You could come back onto your elbows, or you could press. Some keep the elbows bent, and some straight. Good. And again, maybe you're looking straight ahead of you. Maybe you can look upward. Don't forget to breathe. Breathe into the front of your body, and then lower, lower. Yep, child's pose. So sometimes what's nice is Hatha or child's pose. Hatha, your pelvis up in the air. Child's pose. Today I'm trying to keep my arms in the original position. So what I did in child's pose was I curled toes under. That helped me just keep my hands in the same position as Cobra. And downward facing dog. The right leg led the way, so now your right leg's going to come up into the air. Oh, before you think about swinging it forward, just take your leg up high as it will go. Can you straighten the leg? Point the toe. And now look at your hands, and some have to do this from hands and knees, that's okay, but maybe you can swing your shoulders forward, swing your foot forward. And easier said than done. And you might want your block so you can really come forward on this. Maybe the back knee is down and you're stretching your hip flexor and breathe. Yeah. What works better for you? So for some of you, back leg straight is what you like, and others the knee down. What works better for you? Yep. And breathe. Yep. You know what I'm doing is I'm listening. I'm seeing if, like, I can't hear online, but I forgot to mute those guys too. They're all muted. So, but I'm listening for breath, and it's kind of scary when I don't hear the breathing. Good. They're laughing because they ought to be breathing. Okay. And then come out and walk forward. Oh, there you are. And make yourself into a little bobby pin. How's that? Reach. Fold forward, bring your head towards your knees, and breathe. Everybody's, yeah, great. Okay. Okay, and then take a moment we're going to add something here. So feet are together, look ahead of you. And then bend your knees a lot. Oh, yes, chair pose, because you gotta be strong, have good back. So reach, extend, and kind of draw your belly in and work your back muscles, breathing in. Exhale, there's a lot of strength involved in here. Push heels into the mat. Look up, reach back. And then hands are to heart center. Second side. So those are traditional. I'm adding in a lot of movement. So reach up again, arch back, and then come forward. You can soften knees if you like, reach your blocks or go past your blocks, lower your head. And then let's take left foot back, and I'm gonna, again, I'm suggesting that you can keep your heel down and let your knee come forward. As long as your hands are supporting you, your knee is going to be safe and pushing out through the back foot and looking up. I have my back knee up this time. Last time I had it down. I'm with you, Karen, because it's much more intense with the knee up. I mean, it's a different stretch. You had your knee up. Yeah, it's a different stretch. The first time around, I had my knee down, you had your knee up. And, and I said, yeah, do the one that makes sense. Huh?
More intense with your knee up.
For me.
Oh.
Mhm. Yeah. So, yes, and that's the thing. My hip flexors are tight and my quads are open, and most humans are built the other way. Okay, and then let's release. And now I'm going to realign. I want to have a good alignment so my knees are safe. And this, what you just did, will add to your warrior one. It's your yeah, almost good. And breathe. And then hands come down, no blocks. You're going to come down and go all the way back, downward facing dog, and stretch for a moment. Have your feet together, shake out your head. So what we did initially was we took the left leg, let's just take the leg up for a moment. We're not bringing it forward just yet, but you're just seeing, okay, reach your leg up high, bring it down again, and then let's come forward to plank. From plank, one elbow down and the other elbow down. So elbows are just a drop line down from the shoulders. If this is too hard for you, bring your knees down. And everybody drops the head down. It's sort of like, oh, can I just rest? But when you drop your head down, it's harder because your head drags you down. And then lower your pelvis. So thighs and pubic bone down as you're in sinks. Can you extend, still keeping thighs, pubic bone down? Breathe. I'm listening. Yeah, I hear breath. Okay, good. Thank God. And then release and rest your forehead down. Just take a moment. Breathe in. Exhale. Okay, and then hands are alongside chest. Now, imagine your elbows are pinned to your sides. And they're like really in, right? So then you can press up and you might go a little bit or more for your Cobra. And in Cobra, it's just the thighs are down. While we're here, we'll look at Locust. So let's add that in because that's one of the ones for back health. So you're taking your right leg straight up in the air. You're not coming across the leg. Imagine this little drawstring at your heel, lifting, hoisting your leg up. How do you get the leg up? Well, the glute power, low back power, but also the other leg that's on the floor is helping you lower that leg. Left leg starts to come up. And now, like for me, I'm right-handed. I'm predominantly right-handed. My right leg is pretty strong, so my left leg tends to come up a little higher. So I'm trying to find this balance, like how can I use my glutes and my low back as well as the power leg
that's giving you leverage. I want everything working. And then release. Grab hold of your feet and stretch your quads. If you're really tight, you have to do one at a time. You might have to come onto your side to grab hold and press your pelvis down into the mat. Good. Mhm. Let's stretch our backs out, and then you could go back to that or do bow, because those are all spinal poses. So you're coming forward. I want you to stretch your back.
But also it's a chance for me to grab a blanket. You may need a blanket if you're really going into bow.
And then we'll come forward again. So it really depends on you. You might say, you know, I get a lot more out of lifting the leg. I get a lot more out of just stretching my quads. Or you're coming to bow, which in Kundalini, they call this the fountain of youth pose because of what it does for your back. It renders it limber. You kick back, some flex, some point, but you don't want both. You want one or the other. And you can rock. And back is strong and flexible. And then release. Oh, rest your forehead down. Take a moment. You're doing great. Inhale. Exhale. And we're going to press back again. Stretch out your back in child's pose. Take a moment. It's worthwhile to take these counter poses. I will never forget that, you know what? Oh, this whole week is Teacher Appreciation Week. Did you know that? And I have so much appreciation for, it was the same teacher who told me, like, you know, come on time or don't come at all. But she was strict, but her, she was tough love, let's call her that. She really stressed counter poses and said, if you want to do yoga for the rest of your life, do these counter poses. And my teacher, Yogi Vikashananda, said the same thing, teaching us counter poses. Let's come back, downward facing dog. So it gives you a chance to check in. It's like dessert. All right, so left leg comes up again. You're gonna reach your leg up high. Go up as high as you can. And at the same time, look at your hands. Take a breath in. Some have to come to the knees for the shift forward, or maybe you can bring your foot forward. Good. And you could use your blocks if you like, and let your knee come forward of your ankle and just stretch. See which one works, which is the one that works for you today. Knee down or knee up. So hip flexors can be affected by stress. They tend to tighten up. They're very much related to the sympathetic nervous system, getting you ready to run, fight when you're stressed out. Quads are not necessarily that way, connected that way to the sympathetic. The whole body will carry stress, but the hip flexors are a barometer of stress. Okay, let's release and bring your back heel down. Come on up, reach, breathe. And then lower, and let's come to a little bobby pin pose, forward bend. Hold in and breathe. Had to be this one. Yeah. Just recently, I found a little case of bobby pins. I don't know where they came from, but I immediately thought of a forward bend.
I got rid of the bobby pins. I don't know where they came from. I don't need them. But I thought, hey, that looks just like a forward fold or what it's supposed to look like. Go ahead and come up, sweep the arms up, palms touch, arch back. And hands to heart center. Ooh. Pause for a moment in mountain. That's quite a journey. Breathing in, exhale. So we've got, there are two more poses here, and just so you can see it, yeah, well, anyway, so you can see it in your mind's eye. You're at the front end of your mat, it's eagle, and it goes into triangle. These are poses for the back. So, and I'll explain why. So if you want, you can hang on to something, a wall, a bar, or you could wrap. And what we're going to be doing is going up and down, you see. So up and down. It's fine to use a bar. And this is something taught to me by Marie Sloboda, who was one of the first yoga teachers in Seattle. I discovered her like about 6 months before she retired. And what she would have us do is hold on to a bar if you had trouble with this. And this works every joint. Of course, you think your knee joints, your hip joints, but it works your sacrum as well. The sacrum is part pelvic, part spinal. So now let's do our eagle. That's your right leg on top, the left arm is on top. Cross reference and breathe. You know what? I was going to go right into triangle, but I won't because some are at the wall. So we'll do the other side. So bend your knees, second side. Remember, you can always modify or wrap, and then hands are to heart, and you go up and down, and it just as a confirmation of this. Yeah, it's hard for me too. I mean, you got to really balance. It's intense on the quads, and even though the legs are so strong, it's like it's intense. All right, so next time you find you're like, okay, in stillness, you're going to take your right arm over the other. There we go, wrapping just about every joint in your body involved except your jaws, unless you're talking. And come on out. Okay. Triangle. Triangle is going to feel nice after that. So taking your right foot back. And there you are into your triangle. You're starting to come into it. You're going to come over into it. And I think of it as, it's supposed to be a side movement, you know, a lateral stretch, but it's a lot of inner thigh. You could take the arm up over ear temporarily, like just to get more of a side stretch. And then you could take your arm up again. Because some of you love to, you could stay here or you could come up into your half moon. And then your hand comes down. If you're in triangle, you just come to the front of your mat. If you were in your half moon, you're at the front of the mat, and then we all come to a squat and stretch out your back. It's so great for the low back. Neck should be free to move. Okay, second side, last side. So last of the standing. Left leg comes back. Extending the arms. Yeah, good. Wonderful. And then you shift through the pelvis. Come on.
Yeah, you see that? Go ahead and come to half moon. And from half moon, if some of you are like, oh, I'm going to stay in my triangle, you come to half moon if you can. The legs are open. Breathing in. Exhale. And we're going to come to a squat. You come to the front end of the mat. Eventually, we'll all be in a squat. Drop them down. Now, it's up to you. Some have to come up and then down. Some of you are like, oh, just an easy drop down. And you could stretch out your legs. Shake them out a little bit. Half spinal twist. So, of course, you could say, I'm going to just keep one leg. That's the easier way. Cross. Or the lower leg folds as well. So, for all of us, the right leg is on top. Left arm up, reach up high. And then elbow across the knee. Half spinal twist. Sometimes I say, elbow, the hand up in the air, or you bind your arms. But another way is to try to reach, left hand reaches for the heel back there. It's just made it harder. Amazing to do that. Nothing. Oh, that's gonna help you with. And then let's go the other way. Let's turn the other way. Okay. So left leg. You have to watch. I'm watching you, June. Okay. And then your right leg folds in. Yeah, you got it. Okay. Jump and over. Yeah, that's what you're doing. But and then let's go ahead and come on out. I wish I could come to everybody. Okay, and then once we're out, you're going to stretch out your legs. We're going to come onto our backs. Oh yes, it's that time. You're coming onto your backs, and what I would say is, once you're lying on your back, interlace fingers and just give yourself, like, bring your feet together, press your palms up overhead, point your toes.
Oh, just give yourself a full body stretch. Yep. Pointing, pointing. And be really active with your feet. And then flex your ankles, push out through the heels. Still deeply stretching into your spine. And then release your arms and come to Shavasana. And as you're in Shavasana, just allowing your body to completely relax. And what I love is that initial stillness, because even though we're cultivating stillness of the mind in our session, there's movement and you're listening, you're doing the pose, but now this beautiful stillness. And it's like, it's a revelation. It's like, oh, the fluctuations of the mind are very slow. We could call those fluctuation waves, theta wave. Theta is when you're deeply relaxed, but you are still alert. And what we also say about Shavasana is sometimes we dip into delta, like we dip into dream, like a prolonged dream state. I mean, we will do that. But I think that there's a part of you that still is hearing the words, the visualization, the guidance. You're still able to relax your body deeply and restore. And we're going to begin to
Deepen the breathing. Moving the hands and the feet. And when you are ready, you're going to start to make your way to sitting.